It wouldn't be a stretch to say that Batman Arkham City is perhaps one of the greatest games of all time, if various gaming news outlets are to be believed, at least. And it's hard to dissuade them, too. Arkham Asylum laid fantastic groundwork, let's be clear, but Arkham City built the next few floors. It follows Batman once more, this time dealing with the plans of one Dr. Hugo Strange and his mysterious Protocol 10. Clearly intent on keeping the Dark Knight out of Arkham City as much as possible, he does this by arresting Bruce Wayne, who, I should add, he knows is Batman, at a very publicized event. On the one hand, trying to make sure that the one person you're specifically targeting doesn't get involved with what you're doing by directly involving them is kind of stupid, but on the other hand, the very public nature of his arrest guarantees that he, as Bruce Wayne, can't do anything with any amount of actual worth without in some way outing himself as Batman, while within the confines of Arkham City. Still think it's kind of stupid, though. Oh, right, the city of Arkham City. See, after the ending of Arkham Asylum, it's decided that the asylum isn't big enough to hold all of Gotham's so-called criminals and super criminals, you know, Joker, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, the ones those hapless goons follow, so a portion of Gotham has been segmented away from the rest of the city, and has various inmates and Strange's Tiger security forces roaming within its bounds. Arkham City, as it is called, is home to the villains that Gotham would rather forget about, as well as various other individuals, like political prisoners who, in one way or another, have gotten on Strange's bad side. There isn't, honestly, that much I can say that I haven't said before, but let's get into the specifics, because that's specifically something that I do. While within the walls of Arkham City, you'll need to use your various gadgets to solve puzzles and fight crime. Woohoo, what a surprise. But these gadgets themselves can have dual uses. The grappling hook, for example, allows you to pull things that are out of reach into your reach. That's in the name, as you could guess. It can, however, also be used in combat, quick-fired, as it's titled, to pull enemies stumbling over themselves towards you. That's right, gadgets can be used more effectively in combat, which is a big plus. Seriously, being able to actually meld the gear at your disposal into your free-flowing punches and kicks feels great, which only adds to the feeling that the combat is considerably less jank. I'll grant that occasionally it still feels like the timing of your punches and kicks should be just a hair shorter, but it's still ahead of Arkham Asylum. Even without jank though, it did have some buggy moments. Not that many, but hey, watch this. What? What just happened? What? What just happened?
Go move!
What? Alright, well that happened. There's some new additions to the arsenal as well that you eventually get your hands on. The grapnel launcher increases the viability of gliding since Arkham City is a fair amount bigger than Arkham Asylum was. In the reverse batarang, a variant of the always useful staple that is the batarang, increases the variety of, well, batarangs that you can use. I don't know what you were expecting there. There's also the freeze cluster, which, surprising no one, freezes people, and the disruptor, which disables various tech you find in the world, but perhaps most notably, guns for those times when you think being all broody is the best option. The stealthy approach feels even more satisfying now too. You have both increased variety of takedowns and new means of dealing with enemy tech. The boss fights found herein also make great use of the constantly raising escalation of forces that can be found in the game, with Mr. Freeze being the most obvious example. The Riddler has also upped his ante, giving you even more reason to use every trick at your disposal to try and overcome his challenges. Unlike in Arkham Asylum, the Riddler has kidnapped a few people and is threatening to end them if you don't solve his riddles. And while I'm thankful there isn't a time limit, the fact that it's based around the Riddler collectibles found in the game world, of which there are a total of 400 with another 40 added in with the Catwoman DLC, made it so I wasn't exactly enthusiastic about getting them all. And by that I mean I didn't get them all. It's one of the only two things I didn't complete before typing out the review, the other being the Acts of Violence side mission, which was based around stopping random assaults within this city. Despite these two things being at least partially missing from my total playtime after doing everything else and the Catwoman and Harley Quinn DLCs, I racked up about 16 hours total. There's more to do outside the main story, which was one of the missing things from Arkham Asylum. You've got other villains to contend with, and more steps in their questline become semi-apparent as you progress the story. I say semi-apparent because some of these, like the identity theft side missions, don't appear on the map once they become available. It's still nice to deal with more than just the main story stuff, though. Speaking of story stuff, as previously mentioned, your main enemy is Dr. Hugo Strange, but just like with Arkham Asylum, you'll still be contending with others as the story goes on, as well as seeing some of the aftermath from Arkham Asylum. The story's well done, apart from that one gripe that I mentioned earlier involving the premise and the length of the Harley Quinn-focused DLC. Despite this, I can still remember my reaction from when I beat it for the first time years ago. I just sat there on the couch, staring at the screen as the credits rolled. It's a memory I still hold in my mind whenever I think of games as any kind of a medium, that games can be more than just press a button and the other guy falls down. I'll grant that this is at least partially due to the history that I had already had at that point in my life towards DC Comics and their intellectual property, but that reaction remains one of the first times I felt an emotional connection between myself and the game I was playing. Or, in that case, the game I just finished playing. I know, funny that it was a goddamn Batman game that did it, but it's still a fact that it happened. There's also still the great voice work and audio.
This'll be... Chance to go up against that freak.
But I thought he wanted us to drag this thing over to the Joker.
He did. I guess Batman's made him change his plans.
Who cares? Kill Bat.
I hate the thing.
Bruce Wayne,
Face!
you're on my list.
Come on! Smash him in the face!
Bang!
So that's Protocol 10. Poison Gotham. I expected more.
Protocol 10? Never heard of it. Hold tight. I'll be in touch!
We need to keep it together and find him.
I'm what you might call a collector. If someone wants it, I like to think I've got it. And if I don't have it, I'll get it.
Not again. You've got some nerve, Selena.
Batman Arkham City held within it an open world with a fair amount more to do than Arkham Asylum did. The story also had impact with actual repercussions for what occurs during the storyline and direct effects leading into Arkham Knight. Sure, the story DLC was a bit short and could have had more interactions with the other members of the so-called Bat family, but the fantastic boss fights and the fact that the overarching villain wasn't Joker for once in the Caped Crusader's life were big bonuses. It continues the trend of being a great Christmas gift, genuinely something cherished that I have no intention of either reselling or handing off in any way, even though I do own it on 2 separate systems. It's another incredibly easily recommended game. You know the list: like, comment, subscribe, Twitch, Twitter. You know the list: like, comment, subscribe, Twitch, Twitter. I'll see you later. Story up.